Hey, it's Covino and Rich on Fox Sports Radio, and we're joined by NFL legend and Super Bowl champion, Drew Brees, everybody.
Hey, Drew, you're here with Bounty. You put a big plate of wings in front of me, and you expect me to focus on this interview?
No, I want you to chow down on these wings, and then when you get messy and you're like, man, what do I do to clean this up? I got your Bounty fix right here, man.
Got us, man.
This is what we do to clean it up. Because you can't have football without wings. You can't have wings without Bounty.
Well, let me start. Before we talk football and also all the fun stuff, blue cheese or ranch? This is like the debate that never goes away.
Yeah. So I think if you were asking like an OG Buffalo wing dude, which Rob Gronkowski, Gronk is, and he's the Bounty man. He asked me to be his wingman in this. I think he would say blue cheese.
I'm a blue cheese guy myself.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah. But I'm dairy free, so I stay away from.
You stay away. By the way, when you say Gronky, I mean you had some great tight ends, Jimmy Graham in his prime and everything. But I mean, would it have been fun to play with Gronk?
Oh, Gronk's a monster. I don't think you realize how big that dude is.
Yeah,
he is hilarious too. He's everything.
Oh yeah. Like I get it. You know, he's like. His person. Here's the thing, like he's so much fun to be around. Like you know those dudes that they're just having more fun than everybody else.
That's Gronk, right?
Like can we inject that? Like is that injectable? You know,
some people are so subdued, and he is the complete opposite.
No, yeah.
That's how I feel looking at social media. Like, why is everybody living such a great life? Everyone's having so much fun. That's Gronk, right? Why is he having so much fun? What is it?
That is. Although he was asked today because we were doing a bunch of stuff together. They were like, you know, when's the Gronk Beach Bash? It happens at every Super Bowl. He's like, you know, I've outgrown that.
I've outgrown that.
I've turned the page to a newer Gronk.
A mature Gronk.
Mature Gronk. No, and then he goes.
He only crushes 3 beer cans a night on his head.
But then he goes, no, we've actually moved it to April 20th at WrestleMania.
That's Gronk.
Like, all we've done is just postpone it.
Hey, Drew Brees hanging with Covino and Rich. I think Super Bowls, I happen to be at the one that you won, and I remember it was the first Super Bowl I attended. And, you with your son and the headphones is a lasting image. Yeah. And now I think back, I had to look it up before you got here. Your son's like a grown man now.
Dude, he's 16 years old, man.
He's a grown boy.
Dude's trying to get his driver's license.
Is that wild to you looking back? Like, that might be the coolest father-son picture. I got to figure out how to do that with my kid one day.
Yeah.
Can't replicate that.
You know, it was it's crazy because obviously as a kid, I was a sports junkie. I wanted to be a professional athlete. I actually wanted to be a professional baseball player. Football wasn't really on the radar. But once I was kind of on this football path, and I just envisioned, like, what's the ultimate goal here? Yeah. What's the ultimate prize? Win the Super Bowl, and the Lombardi Trophy. But like honestly, I just had this image in my mind of if I ever get a chance to be up there, like I hope that I have a son that I'm able to share that moment with.
You envisioned it.
Sure enough, all of a sudden, it's
like
just,
Simba.
It's like a manifestation of just, here it is, And so, honestly, it was like time stood still. It was the most amazing moment.
2 questions as he grows up. And by the way, such an awesome moment. But he's 16. Do you get in the car with him? He must have his permit. Are you frightened by this? And do you get him his first car?
Yeah, look, he's I think every 16-year-old boy definitely had, like, the connections aren't quite all there, you know what I'm saying? Like, It's still, like they still do and say stuff where you're like, what?
Does he have the broccoli head haircut?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. He's the kind of kid I'm keeping my 15-year-old daughter away from. Dude, like, stay away from the broccoli heads.
There's no question. I got a 10-year-old daughter, and I'm just like, oh, gosh. He's actually been pretty good. Like, not too bad. We learned how to park, in between cars and actually drive next to cars and have awareness with changing lanes.
So scary, man.
Dude, it's really scary. I'm not really excited about the whole driving thing, other than the fact that, like, finally you don't have to drive them everywhere, And
right.
Like, hey, I want to go here. Great, drive yourself there.
Yeah, because you're his chauffeur.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I feel like this guy every day. I'm like, where are you? He's like, I'm driving my daughter, and it's always just somewhere not close.
And their friends and everything else.
Yeah.
Now, you were talking about Gronk before and his personality type. You were a great leader, man. Tell us about that. When you're dealing with all these different age groups and personalities, what was your approach to leadership?
Well, it was interesting later in my career because, here I am, call it 37 to 42 years old, right? And just about everybody walking in the locker room is 22, 23, 24 years old, right? So huge generational gap. Like there were moments where I'm in the weight room, and like a song comes on the radio or something. I'm like, oh, dude, this was my jam. Like 8th grade, middle school, like you're envisioning like a middle school dance or something, you know, and you're like, this is my jam. And like you see one of the young bucks and you're like, hey man, you remember this song? They're like,
it's like I wasn't born yet.
I was in diapers in this
It
song.
sounds like an old-timey time song.
No,
to them.
totally, exactly. You know, now my kids call me an unk. Like when I say stuff like that, like, Dad, you're such an unk. So anyway, but like at the end of the day, like showing these guys that you care about them, and showing these guys, man, I want to help you be successful. Like at the start of every off season, I would ask these young guys, I want you to write down 3 goals for me. Like I want a professional goal, I want a personal goal, I want a family goal. And I want us to go through those things together, and I want you to know that I'm there to help support you.
You would actually do that
Absolutely.
with the young guys that came in?
I would write them down for myself, and then I would, like, it was kind of a vulnerable thing. Like I'd show the guys, like, hey, guys, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. Man, y'all hold me accountable.
That's
and
really
then they
cool.
share it to me, and like, okay, I'm going to hold you accountable. But at the end of the day, like, look, every guy who comes in the league has these visions of, man, I'm getting to this second contract. Like, I've got these personal goals that I'm trying to achieve, and I always wanted those guys to know, man, I'm right there with you. Like, take your role, accept your role.
Yeah.
It may not be the role that you want right now. This is where you want to be. Here's what you have to do to get there, and I'm going to help you get there every step of the way.
That's amazing leadership right there.
Yeah, and he did it for 20 years, so he had to have a knack of leading all different types of men. And who do you see that leadership in today? Like, who do you admire? Like, that guy, he does it right.
You know, it's hard not to admire these young QBs that are coming up right now. In fact, I feel like it's fairly unprecedented. We're literally, like, let's kind of start with Mahomes' class. Mm-hmm. Hard to believe he's like the elder statesman at year 7 as a starter.
No doubt. Yeah.
But like you just kind of go down the list of guys like Lamar and Josh, right? And then kind of that Burrow class, right? And then these 6 dudes who came out last year, right? And the year Jaden Daniels had, and Bo Nix, and like now Caleb Williams is getting Ben Johnson, right? And so, like, you look at these guys and just going, man, like, the future is so bright for the NFL with all these young QBs. But, like, there's something about Jaden Daniels. I obviously saw him at LSU. Actually spent a little time with him at LSU right when he transferred there. Was really impressed with, like, his poise and composure, and just felt like there was, like, a focus and an intentionality. And he kind of, man, from his junior year to his senior year, man, like, there was this flip. And as I watched him this year, if you want to know about a guy, just watch the way guys react towards him. You know, like, watch the way the O-line reacts when the dude gets knocked down, you know? And if they're running over to, like, lift him up, they're like, okay, they love his guy. You know what I'm saying? Or, like, after the game, a touchdown pass or something, man, everybody. So, like, I see these guys, and, whatever their style is, just make sure it's authentic. I don't think there's a lot of rah-rah guys, but, like, man, sometimes you're fiery. A lot of times you're poised and composed. But at the end of the day, like, the more that you care about your guys, man, the more that they're going to want to take care of you.
Drew Brees hanging with Covino and Rich. I just picture – the last game you played in, when you looked back out on the field, you took that pause by the tunnel, turned around and looked. Was that one of the more emotional moments of your life that didn't involve maybe your kids or wife? Yeah,
I mean, look, it was obviously it was tough because it's COVID, and so there's no fans in the stands, right? So didn't really feel like got that a great feeling of closure, you know. And obviously you just lost a playoff game, and you hope that you would have kept going further, but it was just. I kind of knew that that was probably it, and so just that one last glimpse at what had been home for so long.
You ever get after you retired? Did you ever get the itch? Like, I know I could still do it. Like when you would see like Tom doing it in his 40s, like I could probably.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. If my right shoulder wasn't, I had that really bad injury with the Chargers, and I knew I was on a fast track at that point to like early onset arthritis and just a bunch of wear and tear, right? I mean. And the doctor told me that. And he's like, man, you just kind of hang on as long as you can. I used to call it prolong my prime. Like, I'm just going to prolong. Yeah. But, man, toward the last couple of years, I could just feel like, man, it was just a struggle just to kind of throw throughout the week to get to game day, right? And you function, right? You find ways to survive. And, like, man, I couldn't throw it much past, like, 45 yards, right? But I'll freaking rip you up inside of 30.
I was going to say your football IQ was off the charts, too.
But that's what I'm saying is, like, your mental, your knowledge, experience, wisdom is at an all-time high, but the physical skills start to diminish. Like, if I could throw the ball, like, my body, I could play. I could play right now.
Right.
I could process the game. I still see the game, right? Yeah. But just the right shoulder doesn't. Now, maybe he's a lefty. Like, if the field maybe flag football Olympic. LA 2028.
There you go.
Left-handed.
Drew Brees.
Nice.
I'm going to give it a go.
I love
Perfect.
it.
Yeah.
I know you got to run. Bounty, anything you got to let us know about what's doing here?
Yeah, football, wings, bounty. Like
Boom.
everybody's getting together on Super Bowl Sunday,
Yeah.
like whipping up the chili and the dogs and the, cheese dip and, the blue cheese.
And what do you need?
And what do you need to clean
bounty.
up? You need bounty.
My mom always yelled at me for using too much of the paper towels. Can
You're
I use
wasting them.
Yeah, can I use as many as I want? Or
Yeah, you can use it many ways. But, I mean,
Nice.
don't intentionally make a mess. But like when you do, we just soak it up with bounty.
I
Highly
appreciate
absorbent.
it. He's a
Perfect.
Super Bowl champion.
Hey.
Here on Super Bowl week, NFL legend Drew Brees
Yeah.
on the COVINO
Thank you,
and
Drew.
Rich Show. Thank you,
Good
Drew.
to
Thank
see
you,
you
sir.
guys.